I keep trying to recreate these famous pizzas, and I got another one today. It is Little Caesars. We're gonna try to make that from scratch and get it as close to the actual thing as we can get it. Little Caesars hot and ready pizza. Coming right up over here. Let me just preface this by saying I've never worked at Little Caesars. I've never worked at any pizza chain ever. I just really love pizza. Some of my earliest pizza memories are actually from Little Caesars. There was one right down the street from where I grew up. And then they released this hot and ready $5 walk-in special, and I was all over that. I just was figuring out how to drive the car, and I would just drive it down to Little Caesars. That was a routine. LC for short. Now Little Caesars is very secretive when it comes to their recipes, specifically their pizza dough. But I think I found a good one. So let's get the pizza dough ingredients. 16 ounces, 3 leveled cups of very strong bread flour. This is Canadian, and so is this. 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 2 teaspoons of salt, just under 300 milliliters of water, and a packet of instant yeast. And a lot of people ask, well, how many grams are in a packet? This one is 10 grams. Should get me to where I need to be for the Little Caesars pizza dough. And this should get me where I need to be for cleaning with your stand mixer or hand mixer, or just your hand. For me, I'm gonna be using my Silver Fox. I'm gonna add the yeast. What I'm gonna do is mix the salt in with the flour. Sugar or salt? Salt. So I'm gonna add about half this flour. In with the hot water, I'm gonna add the sugar and a tablespoon of honey, if you have a tablespoon. Come on. Just heat it up in the microwave. There you go. Give it a stir, and then pour it in with the flour and the yeast. Dough hook attachment. Get that on here, and I'm gonna knead this for 2 minutes. So I'm gonna add, what is this? Olive oil. And the rest of that flour. I'm gonna let this hang out for 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, you can see that the dough is starting to form. It is formed. I'm gonna mix it for like 5-6 minutes. It seems like a long time, maybe 2.5 minutes. I'll let you know. Jesus Christ. Your work here is done. Lightly flour your work surface and then just kind of knead it really slightly. It doesn't really need to be kneaded, it just needs to be shaped into a ball. Take some olive oil and kind of rub it around the inside of a bowl. Maybe take a little of that olive oil and rub it around the ball too. This is a round ass ball. Into the bowl, kitchen towel on top. And I'm gonna let this hang out for, the recipe says overnight or up to 3 days. I'm gonna do it for 3 hours because I want my pizza today. Just so on the table over here, right beside the flowers. Okay, so the pizza dough is doing its thing. It's proofing, so that gives us ample time to make the Domino's pizza, Little Caesars pizza sauce. Little Caesars. A bowl would be great because I'm gonna mix all the ingredients into here first before adding them to the heat. Have all your teaspoons handy. You're gonna need them. 1/4 teaspoon of basil, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Yeah, that's probably a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, 1/8 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/8 teaspoon of garlic powder, it's a 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. Yes. The secret ingredient of the day is MSG. I went to an Asian supermarket to pick this up, and most food chain pizzas use MSG. And I haven't been using it in any of my previous videos, so I thought today was the day to try it out. Does it scare me? A little. And it's a good thing I bought this entire bag because I'm gonna be using a scant 1/8 teaspoon. Just give that a little shimmy shake. Saucepan, 350 grams of tomato paste. Usually I'm using just canned tomatoes, but for this one, I guess they're using tomato paste. Just go with it and see what happens. And let's crank it up to medium-high heat. 1.5 cups of water. Stir it together. I'm gonna bring this to a simmer. With the spices that I prepared, I'm just gonna throw that in here. You turn the heat down to medium-low. Okay, so the next time we see you will be in half an hour. Although stir it occasionally. But next time I see you, it'll be half an hour, except when I stir it. I'm gonna open it just a little bit so it can breathe a bit. And you see what the tomatoes did to the stove here, right? And that's what this is for. See how that came full circle? After 35 minutes, turn the pizza sauce off. Pizza sauce is done. Yeah. I'm not gonna flour the surface this time. I'm going to dampen it. I'm also gonna dampen my hands. I'm gonna try this method without the flour today. Brought it back down to size a bit, and I'm gonna cut it in half. This is gonna make 2 different pizzas. So I'm gonna take this dough ball, because I don't need it, and I'm gonna get it out of the way, and I'm gonna make it after this. Domino's does things different. I'm not doing Domino's. So Little Caesars does a cheese blend here, where they're doing 2/3 of mozzarella cheese. This is low moisture, pre-grated. 1/3 Muenster cheese, which is like a German cheese, or this is from France. So it is a very good cheese for like melting, and it smells like a stinky cheese. You know, Little Caesars always has the pepperoni pizzas, so that's what we're gonna be doing again today. This is similar in look, I think, to the Papa John's pizza I made most recently, but you know, different strokes for different folks. Now, if you have a pizza screen or pizza stone, obviously those are your first choices, but if you have just the cheapo little round guy like this, that's cool too. I got cornmeal and some all-purpose flour. What is this, a tablespoon? Cool. Flour, cornmeal, and I'm just gonna mix it together. Take my dough ball into this bowl here, and I'm gonna just cover it. Yeah, I liken this. It's only the flour that's sticking to it. Maybe if I wet my hand, cornmeal will also stick to it. Yeah. Let's do that. I'm gonna put some flour and some cornmeal on the base of this pan. Let's get the dough, hand roll it, or whatever the hell it's called. Okay, let's get some of that pizza sauce up on there. This pizza sauce is extremely dark. It's like a thicker, pasty kind of sauce to it. Next up is the cheese. Let's just go for it. Little Caesars looks to have a nice healthy amount of cheese on their pizza, so that's what we're gonna do here. 2/3 mozzarella, and then 1/3 this Muenster cheese. We like to Muenster around. The Muenster cheese is a tougher one to work with because it just melts as soon as you touch it. Okay, let's get the pepperoni up on here. So I started outward and just kind of circled all the way into the center. I'm gonna bake this at that hot temperature in the oven for like 7 to 10 minutes, but it's really gonna be up to me how long I decide for. It's gonna be a visual thing, but also like 7 to 10 minutes. It's looking pretty sexy. After 8 minutes, I think I'm just gonna leave it in for 1 more minute while it bakes on the bottom of the oven. This is all, I'm gonna take it out now actually. Little Caesars, yeah, I think that looks pretty darn close. Now the cheese on here is an interesting mix. The mozzarella obviously is what I'm used to, but this Muenster, it tastes like a stinky cheese. I can't recall if Little Caesars tasted like that. If you don't want that stinky cheese taste to it, just avoid the Muenster. Each pizza we make gets better and better, improving our pizza skills. Now maybe this is exactly like Little Caesars, maybe it's not, and that's totally cool either way, because for me, this is what you want when you make a homemade pizza on pizza night. So there's a few links in the description if you want to check out more, if you want to support the show. There's Patreon, which is like an online monthly membership for this show. I have t-shirts, both ways. Anything earned through that goes towards making the show happen. So check out the links in the description. Of course, I have Instagram if you just want to head over there and say hi or like a photo, I don't know. See you guys soon, bye.